Hello everybody and welcome back to the 24th and maybe last Sky Battle commentary video. So a few weeks ago, there was some changes made to Minecraft Villagers in a pre-release, or I guess a snapshot, and now then a pre-release, and they're kind of pretty major changes to Villagers that I've got some opinions about, not great ones, in fact. Wow, I am really bad at PvP. Oh god. They changed the textures for a bunch of stuff. I think that's been the case for a while now, but I just recently realized it again, so that's fine. Anyway, some of the biggest changes include they kind of ruined librarian villagers, and you see what they did was they made it so that only that person's on our team. Who's killing me? Basically, they made it so that librarian villagers only give you a certain type of book, depending on what biome you're in, which makes some biomes pretty useless, and also some books completely unobtainable through villagers. I'm pretty sure those ones are all the tribe enchantments and crossbow enchantments, which I kind of like getting channeling pretty easy. I gotta set up in my own survival world where I can get pretty much every single enchantment from villagers. It's amazing. Thankfully, they're not changing previous villagers. However, if I ever need new villagers, it's gonna be a pain, because they also made it so that efficiency, unbreaking, and protection, sharpness, silk touch, mending, and fortune are only gettable they're like at the master level. That's the only way you can get them, I'm pretty sure, if I'm reading this graph correctly, that I have on my second monitor. Which, yeah, sure, it's guaranteed, but I think there's a better way to do it. And that better way is keep it in the master level. Sure, but don't make it biome dependent. I'm thinking the biome dependent thing is going to be a real pain. And that's coming from someone who lives in a jungle in their survival world. Like, getting them breaking 2 books, which, whole other issue, they're not max levels for most of them anyway. Which is, if I'm going to go all the way to a swamp to get a mending book, or I guess that's a level 1 by default. If I'm going to a jungle, let's say I don't live in a jungle, to get a breaking book, I don't want a breaking 2. I want them breaking 3, And there's a bunch of these limits, like you can only get protection 3 from villagers. Like if I'm getting, I think I tested it when these changes came out actually. You can't get a pair of boots fully from villagers anymore because you will, the anvil will be like, no, you can't combine all these. It's too expensive. So that's a pretty big issue. Were villagers overpowered? Yes, of course they were overpowered, but that was kind of the charm of it. They're so annoying to use that, it's okay if they're a little overpowered, because, it's worth it. Oh, I'm gonna get killed so hard right now. Oh, yo! However, once there was concerns about potential biome locking when it comes to villager trades, they actually did something good with the villager trades, which is surprising. They made it so that cartographers now sell, I think it's 7 new types of maps. 1 for each of the village biomes, and then 1 for jungle temples, and 1 for witch huts. Which I think is incredible. That's a great feature. You know what I don't think is a great feature? Needing to pay diamonds to get diamond armor. And you might be saying, that's just how diamond armor works. And, I wish you were wrong, but now that is how it works for the villagers. You have to pay, what is that? I'm seeing 4 diamonds to a desert villager for a diamond chestplate. That's too much, I was okay with spending 35 on a chestplate, but this is insane. Not to mention that you can only get chainmail now from 2 biomes, the jungle and the swamp, sensing that theme, but they're like, oh, cool, good items. Oh, you can only get those in the ones where there's no villages. Yeah, because that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. However, these armor changes kind of get redeemed when you look at the last master trade. And specifically for taiga biomes, because you can trade 1 diamond block for 42 emeralds. Now that's a good deal, Because I don't know about anybody else, but I have a couple diamonds lying around in my survival world. I made a door out of diamond blocks a while ago, and That's just so many emeralds that I'm gonna get if I decide to turn those into emeralds. Yeah, sure, it's probably not worth it, but if like you really need emeralds, that's, you know, I think that's a fair trade. Same with 1 iron block into 4 emeralds. Like, that's a better deal than the formerly 4, but now 5 iron per emerald you can get um, in the first trade. So, like, that's just a mega upgrade for all you iron farm users, you know? It's a great trade. I think it's an amazing change. It's so sad that it was put in with the other changes that, you know, aren't that great. But while we're talking about good features, let's move on to the Wandering Trader. The Wandering Trader, amazing changes. You can get stuff like potion. I think, can you get? I'm not quite sure if you can get invisibility potions. I know you can get water bottles and water buckets though, and like maybe also milk buckets. I think possibly, or you trade those. I don't know exactly. Suffice to say that these Wandering Trader polishes they're amazing. I'm a huge fan of them. They're great for super flat players, unlike literally every single other villager rebalance. It's all biome dependent, and there's only one biome in super flat, so you know it's kind of not great for them. You know, seeing people like Mog Swamp complaining on Twitter, which completely fair. You know, like if your villagers disappear, they are gone forever, which would not be fun. You know, personally, I don't like losing villagers, much less if I can never get them back in World, you know. Well, that basically does it for today. Those are my opinions on the new villager changes. I hope they revise some of them, and, you know, I hope, you know, if you have a revision that you think is a good idea, leave it down below. I'd love to hear it. And with that being said, goodbye. See you in the next one.